So the first part, as I mentioned, is, what's a cover letter and what is it used for? So just so you guys know, a cover letter is a document that outlines why you are interested in a particular position. So if you think about your resume or curriculum vitae, CV, your resume will give information about where do you live, what's your qualification, where have you worked before, what are your university projects, etc. Whereas a cover letter, it's a much more conversational, it's a much more approachable document that in one page explains to the employer why are you interested in working for them and how everything that you've done before fits in with what they're asking for. So it's not the responsibility of the employer to figure out where each part of your resume matches with their job advertisement. It is your role in your cover letter to explain that to them. So just so you guys can sort of see what a cover letter would look like, I have included here on the screen, as you can see. You cannot read that word by word, but that just gives you an idea visually about some of the components of that cover letter. And I'll break it down for you. So the first part we have here is showing that block here, that's your name, address, mobile number, and email address, so that people know how they can contact you. The date of when you're writing that letter. Then over here you would have the name and surname of the person you're addressing the letter to, as well as their title, their company name, and an address, either a physical address, like a street address, or a PO box, or an email address, depending on how you're sending that application through. The next part is the salutation, as we call it, which really is, who are you addressing that letter to? And no, it's not okay to go, dear sir and madam, or to whom it may concern. You really want to have a name there. And I'm going to talk a bit more about how you find out that name when we get to the step-by-step part. Then here you have, normally would have between 3 and 4 paragraphs, and they would be addressing the job requirements. So whatever they asked in the job advertisement or the position description for the open position, you would be addressing those requirements or those needs and wants of the company in this part. You finish with, a sort of a conclusion to that letter, and then you sign it off using your name. Now, as I explained briefly, but covering that, a cover letter is really to explain why you are applying for that job, what your qualifications, experience, and technical skills as they relate to the position that's available, your soft skills as well, and that would include things such as your teamwork ability, how well you deal with people, communication skills, both in writing and verbal. It all depends on what they asked in the job advertisement. And then a short conclusion about why you should get an interview if you like. Now, I've included it in here that every word in your cover letter is a gift. That means every word needs to make sense, it needs to have a purpose for being there. So if there is a sentence there that it doesn't make sense in regards to the job requirements, then you cut it out. It shouldn't be there. So really think about, it's just a page, so it really need to consider each of the words and sentences that goes in your cover letter. Now, the cover letter really is used in a company or by the HR manager or staff when they are hiring for a position. Because in Australia there's something called Equal Employment Opportunity, which is a legislation and it's taken very seriously. That means that the best person for the job should be the person who gets that job offer and gets to work in that company. It's not about who you prefer, who you like more, etc. It's about who has got the right skills, who is going to be good with the team, who's the best candidate for that position, and that person gets the job. Because of that, the cover letter gets used as a tool to separate candidates from those that will get an interview because they fulfill the requirements and those that will not, because normally they are using a generic letter or because their experience doesn't quite suit the company.